Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday, and in this episode we are taking a look at the Tier 6 USN Cleveland, and we're going to be talking about the new and upcoming split branch that will be occurring sometime next year, at least from what I've heard. I've heard beginning of the year, and I've also heard kind of around spring is when this will be occurring. So Cleveland, it's a good ship. It's probably one of more solid ships at tier 6. Has good speed. It has decent rate of fire on guns. It's very, very powerful against other destroyers and cruisers, especially close range. But it used to be even more powerful back in the day when BFT and AFT were applicable to the Cleveland, besides obviously boosting its AA guns. Now the range and the speed on the guns aren't as quick as they used to be, and the Cleveland also used to have very not as high arcing guns as the Cleveland does now. And so starting off, let's actually take a look at what's going to be occurring. As you see here, the Pensacola, New Orleans, and Baltimore are shifting down a tier respectively, and the Buffalo is going to be added. The Buffalo, as far as I can tell, it actually has 4 turrets. Kind of similar to how the Cleveland is. Might be a little bit better than the Baltimore. We'll see how that actually turns out. And then on the other side of the branch, we have the Dallas, Helena, Cleveland, Seattle, and Worcester. And the general idea, as far as I can kind of understand from what I've heard, is the fact that the split branch is going to be more focused in being, once again, very fast firing guns, similar to how the British cruisers are. Where they have very fast firing guns, maybe not as high damaging and high penetrating as the USN heavy cruiser line. And I'm assuming they'll probably have a decent AA rating as well. That would be my guess, especially since USN are very well known for this. Now, starting off, I do not have a picture of the Dallas, could not find a picture of that, but that is going to be taking the split branch tier 6. The Helena is actually kind of unusual ship. It's actually very similar to how the Miyoko is as far as gun setup is. It does have 5 turrets. Third turret does face backwards instead of forwards. So once again, very similar to how the Miyoko is set up. Then we do have the Cleveland that is going to be the tier 8, and I'm hoping once the Cleveland gets boosted up to the tier 8, she'll have some buffs to her, because once again, she is a good strong ship, but she does have some weaknesses, and that's just really kind of the fact that they did nerf her. Then we do have the tier 9 Seattle, and didn't really find a good picture of this ship, which is unfortunate. And then last but not least, I am going to butcher this name because I just cannot pronounce names tonight, apparently. The Worcester is going to be the tier 10. And essentially, as you see on this image, it is a very similar to the Minotaur in a lot of ways. All of its turrets are going to be double barrel. I'm assuming they are going to be both AA as well as main guns. So very good AA. And there are 6 turrets, so 12 shots. So a little bit better than what the Minotaur has with 10 shots. Or better yet, yeah, 10 shots versus 12 shots. So a little bit better, which is going to be nice. So gonna be interesting to say the very least. I am currently working on my USN captain, so when the Cleveland gets bumped up to tier 8, I will at least have some skills. But let's go ahead and jump into the battle. As you can see, quite a few of their team has come actually over to the sea cap. There's at least 6 ships, I think 3 cruisers, a destroyer, and 2 battleships in the background, versus 1 Cleveland and 1 lonely Nuremberg. And this Nuremberg, I will have to give props to him. He did actually a really good job considering, oh sorry, Königsberg. Considering he was kind of off by himself. I did pull away because I did realize the situation we were in. So I did try to get behind this island, and this island's actually a really good island, especially for anyone that is pushing in from sea. So getting behind this island, and I will have to give props to the CV captains. They did definitely help me out because, well, as you can see on the minimap, our entire team went A. Our entire team, lemming train to A, and all that was on the eastern side was 2 ships. And technically, I'm actually the last ship that is separating our carriers from the enemy team. Now, this island, as you can clearly see, is a perfect spot for the Cleveland. Cleveland has very high arcing shells, which does allow it to get its main guns over the island without being automatically spotted. But we are currently being spotted by the enemy Omaha that is starting to push south and just trying to find that perfect location that I can continue to harass these cruisers. And keep in mind, in just a moment, it is going to be 3 versus 1, and this is not going to be particularly easy for us, but as long as I take my time and use this island for my advantage, we should be fine. Omaha is starting to push in, and honestly, Omaha versus a Cleveland, my money is going to be on the Cleveland, but the Omaha does have one thing that the Cleveland does not have, and that is torpedoes, which makes me wonder, and I'm actually gonna probably look at this after I get done recording. I'm curious if the CA, or better yet, CL cruisers, the light cruisers, I wonder if they're gonna have torpedoes. That's actually a really interesting idea. It's gonna be one of those few, it's actually technically one of the few lines that don't have torpedoes on the higher tier cruisers. Besides, obviously, like the Mosfa. So I wonder if these light cruisers in the USN line that is coming up, whether or not they're actually going to get torpedoes again, since obviously once you get to tier 6, no USN cruisers besides the Atlanta, and I'm going to exclude the Atlanta and Flint for that matter. They don't have torpedoes, so I'm kind of curious whether or not they'll actually give us torpedoes on our light cruisers. So the enemy team is trying to push out 3 versus 1 right now, and things are dicey. Carriers are trying to bring in airplanes, but honestly, against 2 Clevelands, albeit one Cleveland probably has lost a significant amount of AA, it's still going to be close. Omaha comes in, and this is something you should not do as an Omaha. Especially against a Cleveland at this range. Come barreling in, showing a broadside to a Cleveland, because yeah, you instantly get deleted. Triple Citadel, 1 dead Cleveland. So that is 1 cruiser now officially dead. Another cruiser very low on health. Let's secure this kill. Was hoping to get a double strike, but unfortunately that was not going to be the case. Just took too long for our guns to reload. And at this time, our team is doing really well. They're actually starting to push east, and I think I made a mistake here. I should probably have just pulled north and maintained this island between myself and this New Mexico. I think that would have been a little bit more beneficial, because our AP is actually doing a really good job, and here I do realize that this New Mexico could possibly be a threat to us, and I'm actually going to try to sail away while keeping somewhat angled. And Cleveland is starting to get some good hits on us, but our AP is starting to, well, I mean, damage is still probably nice, but it's not as good as I would like, so I do switch over to HE, hoping to finish him off, trying to get some distance between myself and this Cleveland. And I think fortunately for us, this Cleveland's shots are a little bit off, that it does allow us to survive for a lot longer than what I would reckon, because this Cleveland actually technically had a health advantage, and he does have assistance from the friendly New Mexico. And look at that good hit from this enemy Cleveland, and now he's on fire. We should finish him off on this salvo, and Cleveland leaves us on about 5,000 points of health. And there we go, took out the other Cleveland. I feel very good about that. 3 versus 1. Very, very nice. And right now I'm just going to try to pull away from the enemy New Mexico, get out of sight, and try to find a better location. And yeah, the Cleveland's a good ship. She's definitely a good solid ship, and I get a little cocky in chat, a little cocky there. But one definite thing is I'm very, very, very curious on what this new line is going to be. Definitely looking forward to seeing the Cleveland up at tier 8. Definitely curious on how they're going about as far as kind of the role, because World of Warships, Wargaming in particular, especially with World of Warships, really loves its gimmicks. And for anyone that does not know, Wargaming likes to add in radar to certain ships, or turtleback armor, or HE that does insane amount of fire damage, or better yet, fire chance with good HE penetration. So there's a lot of gimmicks in World of Warships, and that's just kind of the thing. So I'm kind of curious what they're going to do about this new light cruiser line, whether or not they're just going to keep it similar to the heavy cruiser line in the America heavy cruisers, or are they going to add additional smoke? Are they going to add torpedoes? We'll see. But one definite thing is I'm going to bet more than likely they are going to be really good AA cruisers, very similar to how the British cruiser line at tier 9 and 10 are. They're going to be fairly scary, and a lot of CVs are not going to like them. And that's kind of the thing I don't like, is how this year was supposed to be year of the CV, and I do have a good CV captain who doesn't think this. So let me know what your guys' thoughts on this new and upcoming line, and also kind of how they treat carriers at this time. But this is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.